Stand, we'll have our pledge and our prayer. Doug? Please join me in pledging our flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tommy?
Our Father in heaven, Lord, as we come together tonight, Lord, as council members, mayor, staff, Lord, and the citizens of Beebe, Lord, we pray that you'd be in our midst, Lord. We pray you'd guide our actions, Lord. We pray we'd seek counsel from you as we do that. And so we ask you to bless this meeting in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Alderman Duggar?
Here.
Alderman Stark?
Here.
Alderman Lindsay?
Here.
Alderman McCormick?
He's not gonna be here tonight. He had a private issue that he's taking care of, so he's not gonna be with us. So we've discussed the agenda, and he's good for everybody moving forward.
Alderman Lightfoot?
Here.
Alderman McLean?
Here.
We have a quorum. First thing on the agenda is fire department.
Thank you, Mr. Earl. Okay, we're here tonight for a promotion in our fire department. We're going to announce tonight that District Chief McAfee was going to be appointed to Assistant Chief in the Beebe Fire Department. Chief McAfee and I have worked together for the past 20 years at the station, and he has 34 years of experience. And it has been an incredible privilege to serve alongside him. I brought Chief McAfee on board our department at a critical time for our department. And his outstanding firefighting skills, knowledge, and expertise have made him a valuable asset for this department. So at this time, I'm pleased to announce the promotion of District Chief Buddy McAfee to Assistant Chief of Beebe Fire Department. Chief McAfee has shown exceptional leadership, dedication, and consistency to the department. And I have full confidence in his ability to excel in his new position. This time I'm going to depend on his bugles. I can get them off the thing. All right, this is just Assistant Chief Buddy McAfee.
Department, attention. Present on. Order on.
Thank you. Hey, Lee.
Okay, next on the agenda is the water department. Their financials were in your packet. Tommy and Carol are both here if you have any questions.
Motion to accept.
Second.
I have a motion to accept, second to accept the financials for the BB Water and Sewer for the month of March. All those in favor? Any opposed? All right. Next will be planning and zoning. You had a set of minutes from the March meeting in your packet.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes for planning and zoning. All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, next you have a ordinance. Sorry, I gotta find mine. It's ordinance number 2024-01. James, do you want to talk about that?
Mr. Walker bought a piece of property from the gentleman that built the Academy, and he had a parcel due to the 660-foot rule that passed in 2006. He had a parcel of property that was basically had double zoning on it. He asked that all of the parcel be zoned R1.
Motion to read ordinance number 2024-01 by title only.
Second.
I have a motion and second to read ordinance number 2024-01 by title only. All those in favor? Any opposed? Ordinance number 2024-01, an ordinance to amend the zoning map with regard to the zoning classification of a specific land area within the city of Beebe, Arkansas, declaring an emergency and for other purposes. I need a motion to adopt the ordinance as read.
So moved.
Second.
Alderman Duggar?
Yes.
Alderman Stark?
Yes.
Alderman Lindsay?
Yes.
Alderman McCormick is absent. Alderman Lightfoot?
Yes.
Alderman McLean?
yes,
I need a motion to dispense with the second and third readings.
So moved.
Second.
Alderman Duggar?
Yes.
Alderman Stark?
Yes.
Alderman Lindsay?
Yes.
Alderman Lightfoot?
Yes.
Alderman McLean?
yes,
Need a motion to adopt the emergency clause.
So moved.
Second.
Alderman Duggar?
Yes.
Alderman Stark?
Yes.
Alderman Lindsay?
Yes.
Alderman Lightfoot?
Yes.
Alderman McLean?
yes,
That ordinance passes. And then, James, I do apologize. I did not put in, I don't think, about the, I left it out. You had one other piece of property, didn't you, that needed to be, was that it, the Davison Road? Okay, all right, I was thinking there was something else. Okay, never mind.
So let's do the
I did do it.
Shorty Smalls Private Club ordinance.
So,
Got any questions? Mr. Morty's here and Mr. Rackley. And Mr. Rackley, if you'd like, you want to give us a brief history on Shorty Smalls?
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. Yeah, Shorty Smalls has been around for about 45 years. Most of you probably have heard of Shorty Smalls. The original location is located at the corner of Rodney Barron and Chapel. And that location was there for over 45 years. But what some of you might not be aware of is history, where it originated and where the concept started. It was started by a man named Bruce Anderson right here in Beebe, Arkansas. He started Anderson's Restaurant, had a very successful restaurant here in town back in the late 60s, 70s. And he started, expanded and opened a restaurant. Cajun's Wharf was the first restaurant he opened when he expanded from here. And Cajun, about 2 years after he opened Cajun's Wharf in Little Rock, he opened Shorty Smalls. Originally, it was called Little Cajun's for about 9 months, and then they converted it to a Shorty Smalls restaurant. In the early 90s, Shorty Smalls was the highest grossing restaurant in all of Central Arkansas for about 8 years. Very successful restaurant. The one thing I just wanted to be here today to make sure there was any questions or any kind of, in terms of what we're looking at having here. One of the things, the important thing I think for everyone to know, not only is the economic development impact that we're looking at having here, but this is really exciting for me personally because this is my home. You know, this is my hometown. I was born and raised here, all through high school here, elementary through high school. Went my first 2 years of college here at ASU-BB, and transferred to UCA and graduated there. But this is home, so it's really neat to come back. My mom actually worked for Bruce Anderson at Anderson's Restaurant, so it's kind of neat to come home. I have family here. But I'm really excited about this opportunity and excited about what it can do and help the city of Beebe. I think it can not only the economic impact is so positive, obviously, but also the revitalization of downtown. I think there'll be a domino effect. I think there'll be some additional businesses coming in there downtown. It's really going to help boost this economy. One of the things too that's important, and this is about having the liquor, beer, wine, but in 2019, Shorty Small's percentage of alcohol sales was 10%. It was just under 10%. We're an incredible restaurant that serves amazing ribs, catfish, barbecue, those type of things. It just happens to have a bar. And we're not a bar that has a restaurant, or, it's the other way around. And our percentage of sales is maintained like 10%, which is really, really low for that $2.5 to $3.5 million a year restaurant. So, but yeah, I just wanted to be available for these questions and that type of thing. I appreciate the opportunity and looking forward to an exciting time and being part of it.
Will your menu up here be similar or?
Very similar, yes.
And down there, maybe?
It may not be as large of a menu. It'll be tailored down a little bit, but yeah.
Really?
Your variety will be the same.
And it's just, your call for beer and wine?
Beer, wine, liquor.
Oh, all of
It is a liquor lot, full liquor lot. And we'll do brunch. Brunch was a very popular Sunday, maybe even Saturday.
I guess the major question that I have and that I've been getting from people is where are you gonna park everybody? I have a feeling you're gonna be full a lot.
Yeah, actually, we're gonna have, I know that, some of the partners over there have been talking to, can't remember the name of the businesses behind that, for opportunity for cross parking. And they verbally said, yeah, it's not a problem, especially on the weekends, because they're not there.
Okay.
So that'll be something we'll be working aggressively to, secure that, and be able to have a cross parking agreement that everybody's happy with. So yeah, that will be a challenge.
You'll be open for lunch every day?
Yes.
How late will you be open?
I'm not sure yet, but weekdays probably 9 or 10, maybe an hour later on the weekend.
Any other questions? Well, we'll just move to the ordinance then. Thank you very much. I don't know, Matt, that parking lot across from BB News, it runs parallel with the railroad. That's actually owned by the railroad, but the city has lease rights to it, and so it's public parking there, and they can use that. Of course, we maintain and mow for the right of the parking lot, so that's also a public parking lot. Okay, ordinance number 2024-02, Carol.
Motion to read ordinance 2024-02 by title only.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to read ordinance number 2024-02 by title only. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance number 2024-02, an ordinance authorizing Shorty Smalls on Main Incorporated to file for a private club with Alcohol Beverage Control Division under the provisions of the City of Beebe Private Club Ordinance and Arkansas law, declaring an emergency and for other purposes. I need a motion to adopt the ordinance as read.
So moved.
Second?
Alderman Duggar?
Yes.
Alderman Stark?
Yes.
Alderman Lindsay?
Yes.
Alderman Lightfoot?
Yes.
Alderman McLean?
Yes.
I need a motion to dispense with the second and third readings.
So moved. Second.
Alderman Duggar?
Yes.
Alderman Stark?
Yes.
Alderman Lindsay?
Yes.
Alderman Lightfoot?
Yes.
Alderman McLean?
Yes.
I need a motion to adopt the emergency clause.
So moved.
Second.
Alderman Duggar?
Yes.
Alderman Stark?
Yes.
Alderman Lindsay?
Yes.
Alderman Lightfoot?
Yes.
Alderman McLean?
Yes.
Ordinance passes.
Congratulations, gentlemen. Good luck. Thank you for being here.
And I would like to add, we certainly appreciate you investing in the city of Beebe and coming here and giving us another option for food, and we thank you.
Can't wait to see you open up. I'll be there.
Okay, let's go ahead and look at the annexation ordinance discussion on Hidden Valley, and I'm gonna let Randy take the floor on this. He and I have discussed back and forth several things to discuss as far as our annexation, dedication. Randy, go ahead.
Excuse me. Well, it seems like, and just to understand, the annexation versus the acceptance of the dedication of the subdivision are two separate matters, so to speak. It doesn't require, the same requirements apply under our land development and subdivision code, whether that property is in the city or whether it's within our territorial jurisdiction, which it is. So, the mayor and I were talking, it was my understanding that as it stands, there are drainage issues that have not been fully completed, that are on the plats that have not been completed to that particular level that they need to be. And the city does not have to allow the plat to be filed until they are completed, or if the city wanted to allow it to be filed, they could do it with an agreement in place that had certain things to be done. It's my understanding that the discussion has been that the city council wants the drainage completed before it is accepted, and that the city is not going to accept the dedication of the drainage easements of the construction there, and that it's limiting its acceptance of the dedication to the streets and sewer and 50 foot of the roadway on that. I think the mayor has talked with, is it Mr. Barton?
Well, I have talked with Mr. Barton, but I know that we have discussed all of this just as he was explaining, and your concern is that we have the drainage in place. The county judge has sent over the order for petition to annex it, and everything is ready to go. Here tonight, we have an ordinance annexing it to the city. And as he said, we do not have to accept and allow the final plat to be recorded or accept dedications of utilities or agreements of everything until what time this final plat is completed to your satisfaction. One of the things that is allowable, if something is not completed, a plat, a final plat is not completed, is you can have a surety bond or you can have a cash deposit to assure that the work is done. I've had that discussion with Randy today. We've had discussion with Mr. Sal today. They have agreed to put up a $40,000 deposit and to go ahead and pass the annexation, agreed not to file the final plat, and agreed that we will have an agreement with the council on acceptance of dedications prior to. And so the deposit has been made, so it is up to you now if you want to go ahead and do the annexation into the city, which will then allow them to recoup some of their investment and go ahead and start selling lots. I had some conversation about a timeline, and we felt like maybe September 1st, that gets you through all this summer and get a time allowable to complete this work. This was passed prior to the city's flood ordinance or drainage ordinance. And so, the water that comes off of that is going to follow the natural lay of the land. And so it does do that right now. However, there's some issues that need to be corrected with some swells to keep it from flowing over on other people's property. I think we all know that it's gonna drain. It's gonna drain it down into the corner of the property that we bought. At some point, we may have to control that to the creek where it flows out. At that point, we're definitely gonna have to do some drainage work on Jamie Lane. I think Kyle sent, and everybody's probably seen that in the cost that may be, we're hoping to do some corrections before that and alleviate some of that problem, immediately. And same thing over on Duggar and Dwayne. But, well, back to Randy, you,
Yeah, and so in order to do this in the manner I have a preliminary draft, subject to finalization with a few other things of an agreement that they would have to be signed that effectively would, you know, he would acknowledge that the construction of the drainage issues in the drainage easements had not been completed per the plats, and that he would acknowledge and agree that he is going to do those per the plat, and in addition, acknowledging that the city is not will not be accepting any dedication of the drainage easements for it to be the city's responsibility, and we would require that the excuse me, that they have a provision in their bill of assurances that they amended that would specifically state that the property owners know that the drainage easements are their responsibility and they have to keep them maintained per the plat. So the concept is you don't want somebody coming in there and if you've got a swale in there where the water's supposed to run, piling stuff in it. So then it becomes, if that backs up in somebody else's property, it becomes an issue between the property owners and not a city issue. So we would have them, that requirement added to it. And then in addition, we would also have the bond put in place, where if it's not constructed by September 1, 2024, the city could go in and bid it out and have it constructed. If it cost more than that, the developer would be responsible for that. And that also, that money, if during the time period that it's supposed to be constructed, if he's working on it's not fully constructed, and if the city has to come in and get something done, that the city could tap into that money. That's what our agreement basically is proposing. Obviously, there may be a few little things that will have to be discussed, but we're pretty strong on all these being, because my understanding is from conversations and everything that's how the city wants to do it, and that the final plats would not be filed until that drainage was completed. And that would put them in a situation where, you know, if they don't do it, the city doesn't accept it, the dedications, the city doesn't become responsible for the streets. I'm pretty sure there would be a lot of homeowners who bought in that area who would not be happy with their developer if he didn't get it taken care of. So that's kind of the leverage, and we're allowed to do that under our zoning subdivision laws. So.
Is there an agreement drafted between the developer and the city now?
I've done a preliminary draft of it, and I'll be happy to give you a copy of it to look at. There's got to be some tweaks in it.
Okay.
I know your knowledge may be beneficial to look at it and some language if there's something missed.
No, not at all. I understand the nuts and bolts what we're trying to do here. I just didn't know if there was an agreement that both parties have signed and.
no, there's not yet. You know, this has been going for days. It's been
Okay.
ongoing today, all day. But the agreement is not in place, but it doesn't need to be at this particular time in order to annex that into the city.
Okay.
That's, totally separate from what we're doing here to assure that this drainage gets done, so. And that's why we want to go with the bill of assurance and have those things in there too also, but, the agreement has been in email back and forth with their attorney on numerous times. In fact, I sent him an email just the other day about it also with the terms that, we were going to accept the streets and anything within the 50-foot right-of-way of the streets. Other than that, it would be in the bill of assurance that all drainage easements and all swells would remain open and unobstructed and remain the responsibility of each and every homeowner. Their bill of assurance now currently says that a little bit, but we want that to be defined in that.
Okay.
Before, on the annexation of this too, wanted to ask Mr. Barton, there's some confusion in it's on, this is subdivision through the entire process has been platted as an R1 subdivision, correct? Some of the engineers that has presented the plat to the city have made incorrect R4 zoning notes on it with incorrect setbacks. And so we're gonna correct that if that's good. When we do this, we're gonna correct that.
So we need a motion to accept the annexation?
What number would that be,
ordinance.
Carol?
It's gonna be number 2024-03.
Motion to read ordinance 2024-03 by title only.
Second.
This wasn't in your packet, this was sent out. Isn't this the one you just sent out, Harley? Okay. So, but scroll through. Is it on there?
No, it's one they sent out today.
He's got it. Jeffrey has it in his packet. It's, okay. All right. Ordinance number 2024-03, an ordinance accepting the annexation of certain territories to the city of Beebe, approving the schedule of services to be extended to said areas, and assigning such to Ward 3. I need a motion to adopt the ordinance as read.
So move.
Second.
Alderman Duggar?
Yes.
Alderman Stark?
Yes.
Alderman Lindsay?
Yes.
Alderman Lightfoot?
Yes.
Alderman McLean?
Yes.
Okay. I need a motion to dispense with the second and third readings.
So move.
Second.
Alderman Duggar?
Yes.
Alderman Stark?
Yes.
Alderman Lindsay?
Yes.
Alderman Lightfoot?
Yes.
Alderman McLean?
Yes.
I need a motion to adopt the
There
emergency.
isn't one. I don't see it.
You're right, never mind. Apologize, there is no emergency clause. All right, that passes. Ready for me?
Now, one other thing on planning and zoning we can discuss, and that was be land subdivision development book and the category of streets. You'd asked for this to be discussed, and so
Absolutely.
you have the floor.
I'm gonna pass these papers out, just highlighted, it's brief, but you can see this?
Sure. No, I've seen it.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, basically, this fabric that's spec'd in our subdivision code book is Mirify RS 380I or equal. This cost to put this under each of our lots at 65 feet is gonna put a damper on selling lots in the city. And keep in mind, there's not that I know of, a square inch of this fabric under any road in this town already. It's just something I would like to see taken out. And I brought in Billy Pearson. He's a developer here, pretty well educated on this matter, a lot better than I am.
What's he talking about? I don't
I
know.
didn't know till today.
Huh?
I didn't know till today. Talking about,
My name's Billy Pearson. On this fabric, geosynthetic fabric, this is designed to help stabilize subgrade understream. Like you get your subgrade ready, put this fabric down. And sometimes it's in lieu of a certain amount of gravel or base course. So it kind of sits in place of that at times. For clarification or modification, if you look at this sheet and look at the requirements under subgrade, it states that you'll prepare your subgrade to 95% density. If you can do that, then there's really no need for the fabric. You see what I'm saying? The fabric is for stabilization. So no other entity, except one that we know of around here, even implements this. And then it's spotty. It's for areas that need attention, that you don't want to undercut or dig out, replace with others. Sometimes this fabric could be in lieu of that. So the criteria under this here is double whammy. It's get your subgrade perfect, get your compaction test every 300 feet, and then also now implement this $4,000 a row geosynthetic fabric, which Nathan is alluding to, the lot cost. It's gonna go up pretty much that per lot, and it drives it, construction costs are already so high. If there was a reason, and our engineer and geotech technician have both spoken to this, that they're willing to write letters and say, there are spots, I believe Kendall used a piece or two out in a road where it was failing, but like Nathan said, up to date, really, this has not been something that's been used.
Do they do this in Cabot and Searcy? Do they use this? It's not part of their code?
No, ma'am.
If you had this fabric under there, would you be able to cut back on the 95%?
No, you'd be able to, the way our geotech worded that is, you'd be able to cut back. So right now in the new book, it states 8 inches of class 7 or SB2, the gravel under your asphalt. In the old book, it was 7 inches minimum. But this is used, highway work, all that, just to save hauling gravel in. It would get down to 2 inches of the gravel. So you'd be saving about 6 inches of gravel, which we feel more comfortable with the gravel than we do with the fabric. So
More comfortable as in cheaper?
stability.
Oh, stability? I don't know how it made it into the code book with it not being some standard usage around this area. I mean, I can see where we might not have it yet, but we haven't had just a lot of construction until here lately.
Right. And maybe if you work in these areas, has the better material, better dirt here than there is in some of the other areas. You can look around now, even after all the rains and everything, we're working and it's, it's dry. We're not in a mud hole, so.
If I can add to that, Kendall Barton prepared his excavation, we're doing the Hidden Valley development along with several others. We've worked all over the state of Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Texas, Tennessee, on all commercial jobs,
city jobs. And I'd like to say, I think you guys are trying to head in the right direction. You're trying to protect your streets. You're trying to have a good thing for Beebe, and that's great. But there's certain ways to go about it. And one, you don't want to accept the responsibility or liability of telling the contractor exactly what materials he needs to use in the road, because then it holds you guys liable if something goes wrong. That's where you use a soils engineer that's been to school, he's been to college, he studied into soil. We already have to have, even if we're building a street for the city, because we have to have our compaction test. So that soils engineer comes out, he studies the land, he figures out what it needs. And if anything, I would recommend mandating that we have a soils engineer for each project. These projects that have been done in the past without a soils engineer is examples of failures you're seeing now. Where you've got soils engineers that have been there when something's being built in the last 10 years, you're not seeing those failures. There are spots and things are gonna happen. There's gonna be a natural spring come up. Something's gonna happen. I'm not saying all failures are forever stopped, but it tremendously minimizes it. You know, it also shows somewhere in that new book that you're looking at where you have to have, I think it was 8 or 12 inches of a classified compacted material. That's good for certain situations. But if I'm setting on solid rock, why do I need to fight digging out 12 inches of solid rock to put in 12 inches of compacted material? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
And that example is the same as the fabric. The fabric is great for a certain area over here in this situation, but it is completely useless and pointless in another situation over here. That's why you have a soils engineer who studied all that, and he can say, this is what you're gonna need, because Beebe likes to use this if it's questionable. But if it's not questionable, there's no point using that. And that makes a huge difference on land costs, which is gonna make a big difference on sales, which is gonna make a big difference on tax revenue for the city. And it's just a trickle effect that ends up coming right back to us as a developers trying to get it done the best we can, the right way, but yet we have to stay cheap enough to be able to meet what our demand is here in Beebe.
Yeah. And you
8
had,
inches of gravel, it also calls for 100% compaction. I've been doing this for 27 years. I've never had to do 100% compaction on anything, even federal airports, which are stricter than anywhere. 98% compaction is the most. A lot of them are 95% compaction. If you have the soil here in Beebe compacted properly, and you put your gravel down and you try to get 100% compaction, more than likely you're gonna do more damage to your subgrade than what you're gaining by trying to get your gravel compacted that tight. In a normal scenario for us who haven't been around it a lot, you think 100% compaction, that means we did a good job. We got it 100%, we're doing the best. That's not really the way it works for compaction. If in compaction, you're not gonna get 100% unless you've got a wrong proctor or density or something like that. It's very rare that you're gonna get 100% compaction. That's why they do 95 to 98% compaction. Naturally on ground that hasn't been compacted by humans, it is 84 to 86% compaction. So when we get it up to 95 to 98% compaction, we are way over exceeding that. So if that makes any sense there, that really needs to be striked out of 100% compaction on gravel. Again, it falls back to the city doesn't need to be assuming, in my opinion, the liability and responsibility of specifically telling a contractor what he needs to do when they haven't been to school on soils engineering. That needs to be left up to a soils engineer.
and so you have a soils engineer out there that's gone over what you're doing out at Hidden Valley?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And they weren't apparently involved in this code book that we have.
No, ma'am.
I wonder where we got all this.
It was voted on in January, I believe.
But where did it come from?
Oh, I don't know.
I'll tell you where it come from. We had meetings, and we had Kyle Breckenridge, who represents, as an engineer that represents the city in a lot of matters. It was a suggestion from him to try to get better streets dedicated to the city, streets that'll last longer, and we don't have to repair them.
I'd like to hear from Kyle.
I can speak to that a little bit. So, you're right about the compaction. If it says 100% in there, that needs to be corrected. You're only gonna get 100% left for you. So you have to have a certain optimal moisture content to get that compaction level. Like, I think it's, what I thought was 95. from what I saw.
That's what it was.
If there is a reference to 100%, that needs to be changed. I mean, it is, obviously, anything you do to make a better street is gonna cost more. We use this RSI 380 from Year 5, and it's an R equal. So, I mean, I would say that if the city can't mandate certain types of materials, there's no point having a code. That's the whole point of the code. So they're not assuming responsibility by mandating a geotextile under every street or an equal equivalent to that. But yeah, I mean, there may be times where it's not needed if you're on really good soil, but it's easier to give a variance for those areas than it is to apply it to try to force a developer to do it in a poor area. Also, I don't think, so typically, two points, you don't have, did you have geotech bores done along the alignment of the road to determine what the soils were and the bearing capacity and things of that sort?
We had Carl Garner come out and do test pits and compaction tests, and with our test pits, we didn't do any boring per se, but we did test pits.
And so you're gonna have a sporadic, and so the idea with the geotextile is that it gives you, it is somewhat belts and suspenders, but both with the test pits or the bores or the compaction the same way, you're only doing that analysis in spots. So the pothole issues, you could have a localized issue that's nobody catches in the compaction test, and you're going to develop rutting or potholes and things over time. So just to give you an idea on the cost, we did put this in the city development commercial drive. We had bids, I think we had 5 bids, and the average square foot cost was $1.31 per square foot. The actual bid, the winning bid number was $1.03, and the lowest bid for that was 69 cents per square foot. So if you look at it as a percent of the total pavement cost, which includes asphalt, base course, and curb and gutter, it was about 20%. So I mean, it's substantial, but you know, it's going to provide you a better product with less maintenance on the city side. So you just need to determine whether or not that life cycle, you know, it's worth, you are shifting that to the developer, but you know, that's why it was added as a means to reduce the amount of potholes and street issues that you've had. You can drive around the city. It's not, I don't know of any cities around here that use it, so you're right about that. But I think it will begin to catch on. It's been mostly done under state highway requirements, so it's starting to catch on. You can find numerous test data, reports, case studies on the use of it. And there are probably, you may be able to find, you know, equal geotextiles that may be a little cheaper that would be considered an equal. It'd have to have similar, you know, tensile strength and filtration capacity, but
So if we didn't
that's
change,
why it was added.
if we didn't change this in the code book that we've got now, he would have to apply for a variance that we might give him for his property if we maybe sent somebody out there. I know you said you
Right.
can't do the core samples everywhere, but if we tested it for compaction or whatever.
Well, we do the cores. We do 20-foot bores on site by materials testing out of Fayetteville. He's the one that's talking about how if a place is inconsistent, then yeah, there's measures to be taken, but we're talking about consistent jobs. We're talking about total red dirt on the whole project, no issue spots, maybe except where utilities cross. And we're not saying that we wouldn't be, we'd be opposed to using any fabric at all, but I think it should be on the other side of that, is if we have spots, let's alienate them with our geotech, and then come to the city and say, would you let us undercut it? Would you let us soil stabilize it? Would you let us use, because we have different metrics that engineers have at their disposal, so we just don't want to be blanketed with the fabric, and those costs, 20% would probably be a low estimate on it by our book, but you're talking a 30% increase in a lot. And yeah, it's passed to us, but we have to pass it to the end user. So that's a big thing with the homeowner.
So what you're saying is that you would go to the areas that might cause a problem in the future, and you would have some other solution to
Which
that?
we already do.
Yeah. And
Our roads have to be perfect before we put base on them, because our base guy and asphalt guy will not warranty spotting jobs.
But it's a different, I mean, to say that it's in perfect condition when you proof roll it after initial construction is different after 5,000 cycles of a wheel over it. So that's where you get into.
But the code doesn't mention a proof roll.
No, I'm
So that's
saying.
at our discretion.
I'm saying from the city's perspective.
Yeah.
If you say, oh, look, everything's fine, the city, the asphalt's great, but it may be great for 2 years, but after so many freeze-thaw cycles and so many wheel impacts, 5 years from now, the city has to overlay it. And that's what this would help prevent. At a cost, yes, but that's the idea.
Do we want to risk the revenue loss overall? And if we've got, right now, thousands of lots.
Well, there's going to be a revenue loss at some point in the future if the city has to overlay it. So it's a matter of, do you want to pay for it up front or do
But
it
it's divvied
2
across
times later?
more residents too at that point, so it's a softer cost over more people. So, I mean, one will outweigh the other at times, and times of that, so. I think we're just asking for different wording. We'll work together with the city and get the best street we can.
I think the biggest thing that you've got going for you is getting soils engineers involved in streets now, where in the past you weren't. And I know you have in the last few years, but in the past, a lot of these streets that we're having to rebuild, you guys are having overlay after overlay after overlay. There wasn't a soils engineer involved. There were shortcuts made, and a soils engineer's job is to make sure you don't take those shortcuts. Make sure that you build the best road possible and decide, hey, this is going to need some fabric in it to have a better road for the future. This spot, there's no point to putting fabric in it, it's going to be fine. And that's what a soils engineer's job is. When you tell us we have to have one on site, you go to the action desk, you go proof roll, make sure all that stuff. That's his job to make sure we've done it properly where that hasn't been there in the past. And so, my recommendation, which I have no say over this, but would be to, leave that discretion up to the soils engineer. And make sure that each contractor has a soils engineer on each project that they're doing, that's going to be given to the city in the future.
Well, I personally think it probably ought to go back to the planning and zoning, then to review it and make a recommendation what they think, since they're the ones that spend all the time and energy in updating this big code book.
Looks like it could cost a developer, to me, it looks like it could cost, you can tell me if you know this, for about $100,000 a mile. That's what it looks like to me.
North of that.
And, pardon me?
North of that, quite a
It'd
bit.
be $160,000 per mile.
Yeah, I got one out here.
If it's a dollar. Let's work to it.
How many lots are on 160, I mean, how many lots are per mile out there?
It figures up to about $1,500 a lot. And
That's just cost of the material, that's
the
not labor.
material.
It's just,
Then you gotta install it, you gotta get it and everything else, but
I had it cost closer to 3,000 to 3,500 all in on a 65-foot wide, or, yeah, 65-foot wide lot, times the width of the road.
that's probably what you got.
Yeah, it's all in cost. And I think our main argument is this cost has got to go down to the consumer. And we call our buyers up and say, hey, we're going to add $4,000 to your lot cost. They're going to go somewhere else. All there is to it. You know,
And you said, but yeah, you may not have potholes in the future.
and you may have potholes in 5 years, yeah.
And that doesn't be our responsibility to pay for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That, putting that fabric down does not guarantee there won't be potholes and there won't be ruts. That's not a guarantee. It helps in certain situations. But in other situations, it doesn't do anything. And in situations that if soils engineer isn't there, making sure you've got the right type of soil and it's got the right moisture with the right compaction, and you still put that verify down, you can have a road fall apart just as bad as anything.
Well, I'm like Tracy, I would feel better if the planning and zoning got to look at it one more time and then come back and.
You have a meeting tomorrow night?
I do.
Can you discuss it tomorrow night?
Yes.
And when it's, you know, amendments to the text of the planning and zoning book is allowable by recommendation of the planning and zoning, or it's allowable by amendment to the text by the full body of the city council. Either way. So is that, you make a motion?
Yes.
Second?
I have a motion and a second to send this back to P and Z for review. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Okay. All right, now we're to you, Carol.
All right. All right, so you had the financials that were in the packet. Any questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the financials for the city of Beebe for the month of March. All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, so the next is the approval of pay. So as you know, council members do not approve hiring of folks. But you are in charge of the budget, so you do have to approve their pay. So this is who we've hired so far this year. Most of them are seasonal for the ballpark. Pretty many of these are the seasonal folks for the ballpark. So I'm just gonna need a motion for you to approve. The list was in your packet.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the next will be the fire department building. Might need a little help with this. So this is gonna be a building, what are you gonna store in here, chief?
Access equipment,
That's what I thought, okay. So,
maybe the Parker truck.
okay. So it is over the mayor's spending limit, so for us to move forward with this, we did already put the down payment of $2,600, which is under the spending limit, but for us to move forward with this, we'll have to have approval to purchase the building.
So moved.
Second.
Where are you gonna put it, Chief?
Over on that, adjacent to the fire station, that parking lot, that concrete
I have a motion and a second to approve the new building from C&H Carports for the fire department. All those in favor? Any opposed? Next will be the salaries for the dispatchers. As you know, we moved our dispatchers to 911. You know, everybody's moving to a 911 system where they're gonna all dispatch out of the county. And so we went ahead and had ours moved. We do still have to pay something. It is significantly cheaper than what we would be paying if we had them here. It's $117,641. That's $58,000 apiece. So we will be paying for 2 dispatchers. Again, because this is significantly over the mayor's spending limit. We have to have approval on this, and we need to go ahead and, so I can get this paid. Y'all forgot me the other night.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Any opposed? I'm just into spending money this evening. None of it is gonna be at City Hall, though. Okay, next is, and I'm gonna have James hop in here for a minute to help me with this, maybe. So this is, we need, we had somebody came out and inspected the concession stand, is that right? Am I saying this right? And we have, our mop sink is not right. I'm looking at Harley, I'm looking at James, because this. There is not a mop sink. That's a bad thing, then. Okay.
Which is not a bad thing.
Yeah, no, it's not terrible, no. But I apparently gonna be coming to you quite often right now. So this is the first of that we need to bring up to code. It needs a mop sink. You'll see the price here in front of you. Ingram's is willing to put this in. I'm not sure if they're gonna put it in right now, or they're gonna wait till after ball season.
You're gonna have to put it in.
Okay, they're gonna have to put it in, the mayor's telling me.
We're not gonna get to stay open.
Okay, okay.
There's also a 3-compartment sink that has to be there.
But that was in here. It said mop sink / 3-compartment roof in. Is that?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but this is the price for it all, right? Yeah.
No, the 3-compartment was not in on the price. The mop sink itself was. I had him bid everything except the 3-compartment.
Well, this says mop sink.
No, you got
sink.
2 different prices. We got 37 and then we got a 55. And the one for 55, the higher price says it's for both. Is that right?
When the gentleman approached me, I said the city was gonna buy the 3-compartment.
Yeah.
Everything else would be in on the bid.
Okay.
Well, this says mop sink / 3-comp rough end. Okay. Well, because this is over the mayor's spending limit, I gotta have it approved, because we gotta have it done, or we're gonna close down for the ball season.
Motion to approve.
Second.
So that total is correct, 5597?
Yes. 5597.29.
Okay.
And if it's any more, I'll bring it back to you. Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the bid from Ingram's Plumbing Service. All those in favor? Any opposed? Mike, that's all I got.
Yeah, I had repairs and I had several items on that, but, Carol's starting to make a list of everything that is gonna have to be approved. Majority of it is $6,000, $7,000, $7,000, $5,000, $6,000, $9,000. There's,
So when it comes to that stuff, we can't move forward unless we have a meeting and approve it, correct?
That would be correct.
Okay, well, I wanna make a motion that the mayor is allowed to spend up to 15,000. Therefore, you can take care of this little stuff that we need to do to keep the city going.
Second.
Hang on. Nathan, will you pass these down? So, as you know, everything we do has to be done by ordinance. To Lee and Tracy. Press, I'll get you guys one.
Is this 04?
Yes, this is 04. This is the ordinance. What this is raising Mike's spending limit to 15,000. Obviously, anything $35,000 or more, we'll have to have a bid process. We have to follow state statute on that. So I'll give you a minute to look it over.
In essence, what it's saying is, the city has a threshold from 0 to 35,000. Anything over 35,000 has to be bid by statute. Anything between 0 and 35,000, the council can set a limit on it, and then the mayor can spend, or his duly authorized representative can spend that amount, and then when it gets to that amount, the council then will either, they'll come and back to you and get you to approve it, and you can approve it, or you can even bid it. Okay.
Motion to read by title only. 24 dash, is it 04?
Yes.
04.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to read ordinance number 2024-04 by title only. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance number 2024-04, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2020-12-11, 2020-16-1, defining the mayor's ability to approve certain bills, debts, liabilities, and claims against the city ordinance in accordance with ACA 1458-305, and for establishing the procedure of purchasing supplies, apparatus, equipment, material, and other things requested for public purposes in and for the city of Beebe, and for making small necessary contracts for work or labor to be done, or materials that are necessary and things to be furnished for the benefit of the city, or in carrying out any work or any undertaking of a public nature in the city, in accordance with provision of ACA 1458-303. I need a motion to adopt the ordinance as read.
So moved.
Second.
Alderman Duggar?
Yes.
Alderman Stark?
Yes.
Alderman Lindsay?
Yes.
Alderman Lightfoot?
Yes.
Alderman McLean?
Yes.
Need a motion to dispense with the second and third readings.
So moved.
Second.
Alderman Duggar?
Yes.
Alderman Stark?
Yes.
Alderman Lindsay?
Yes.
Alderman Lightfoot?
Yes.
Alderman McLean?
Yes.
I need a motion to adopt the emergency clause.
So moved.
Second.
Alderman Duggar?
Yes.
Alderman Stark?
Yes.
Alderman Lindsay? Alderman Lightfoot?
Yes.
Alderman McLean?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Any other business y'all want to discuss? We're
Motion
done.
to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you.